So in the shoulder, we have two components, and you have the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade really serves as a base that the arm moves from. So in order to have complete range of motion, this scapula or shoulder blade has to be able to move. See, right now I can feel the inside edge of that shoulder blade, and that's the point, the tip of it. And that tip is pretty close to his spine. Now, let's just raise your arm to the side, and I'm following his tip. You see how that moves. So that moved way out there, which is good. And let's do it one more time. So we call that scapular motion, scapular rotation. So that scapular rotation is necessary to have healthy shoulders. The main muscle here that we're looking at is going to be the trapezius, or trap. So the trapezius, this is the ridge of the shoulder blade, and a lot of these muscle fibers attached to that. The low trapezius goes in a direction that's down like that. And let's hold your arm out in front. Now you see, you can actually see the low trapezius fibers. Those are necessary, or his scapula would just fall forward. So we have to have something pulling this back as he lifts his arm in the front. And so we see these angled fibers coming out. And so that's the nature of muscles. They have different fiber directions. In the case of the trap, it's like a big clock. So as you get up in here, these fibers are going to start to angle up and farther up until they come all the way up into the head, and that's the high trapezius fibers. This is all high trapezius here. So you can see it has a lot of different fiber directions, which means it can move the scapula in a lot of different ways.
The first thing that we'll address is scapular movement. The scapula, very important. Anytime we're moving the arm, the scapular muscles attaching the thorax to the scapula, have to stabilize the scapula. So even if I'm raising my arm up like this, the scapula has to move. The muscles that are attaching to the scapula have to coordinate happily together the stabilization. So the scapula has to be able to rotate, it has to be able to protract, it has to be able to retract, and this is the foundation of proper shoulder functioning, is scapular positioning and rotation. So we're going to start with that, and we have some great ways of addressing that with compression and vibration around the whole scapula with the movement. So first we'll start with the tiger tail ball, and Will's going to place that in between his scapula and the spine on his upper back. And I want him to kind of move up and down a little bit until you find, a place that's a little bit tender. Right? That generally is going to be your low trapezius. So that is a very important scapular stabilizer. So he's going to get compression on that. And this muscle, when it doesn't perform its function because of taut fibers and muscle dysfunction, it lets the scapula just position itself forward. So we want to be able to retrain it to be able to bring the shoulder back. So we're going to do that by moving the scapula with compression on that low trapezius. So that low trap compression will distract the muscle from a pain response while we're putting it through its range of motion. So that's step one. The tiger tail ball is in that low trapezius area in between the spine and the scapula. Then step two is Will's going to use the Liberator along the lateral border of the scapula. So here's the scapula. I can feel the medial border. It comes down here. There's the inferior angle. And then here's the lateral part of it right here. So he's going to use the Liberator just in front of that lateral border, close to the ribs, actually along the ribs and along the muscles that live here, while he does scapular movement, forward and back, and also lifting the scapula up and pushing the scapula down. So he's moving his shoulder. He's not concerned with moving the arm. It's all right here.